Heyo.
What up, girl?
Jen.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
She's still going.
It was lengthy this time.
You know what that sounded like to me?
What?
In Finding Nemo, when Dory is speaking whale.
Oh.
She's like, hello.
I love that movie so
Me
much.
too.
I'm a Disney girl. I'm a Pixar girl.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm feeling sad, down, blue, or sick, that's my go-to.
I love that.
I've recently been on a SpongeBob kick as well because it just like makes me think of my childhood and it's so nostalgic. And that shit's funny as an adult, okay? Don't tell me any different. But also, Amazon Prime took it off for a while because there were a couple of episodes and just like in general that people are a little too woke and they're trying to ruin my childhood. Like, I understand that, yes, there's probably underlying issues in a lot of things, but they were trying to say that there was an episode, you've seen SpongeBob, right? There's an episode where SpongeBob has Gary in like Snail Olympics and he's like pushing him too hard where he almost like explodes at the end of the episode, and they said it was animal abuse, so they're trying to get that episode taken off. There was another one too that they said was some type of abuse, but just in general, like working at the Krabby Patty, they say that Mr. Krabs' work conditions and I'm like, y'all, they live underwater working at a fucking Krusty Krab burger shack. Let's made
take
up.
A step back for a second and look at the big
You
picture.
want to talk about poor work conditions? You don't think Michael Scott created a toxic work environment at the office?
Yeah.
You don't take that off.
That's
Quit trying
funny.
to ruin it. Okay, I'm done. But
I love that. Thank you for giving us some insight on this pop culture movement.
I've been stressed lately, and now you know why.
God. Well, Al, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about some pyramid schemes, some MLMs.
Yeah.
And we'll get into what that acronym means later on.
Ooh. Welcome to our disclaimer. This episode is going to be a mix of fact and opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, MLMs and pyramid schemes are kind of a hot topic, and I don't want to offend anyone by dishing out the information. I do have a source.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know.
I was going to say, I did see a half citation in here. It is not MLA or ALA or what's the other one?
APA?
Scientific method? There's one that's like a science, and that's the one with the footnotes. Regardless.
You're rocking my world.
Anyways.
Disclaimer, we're two girls, we have two opinions, but some of this is going to be fact-based too. I don't want to offend anybody that might work in a business or realm that resembles a business model like similar to this. I don't want to offend anyone.
However, I will piggyback on that and say, if you're offended and it sounds a little too close to home, I would be re-looking at some things because I'll go into this later, but when people start talking about pyramid schemes and MLMs, and then you say that you don't like that for specific reasons, they'll get defensive. So don't get defensive. Just reflect and be like, hey, maybe what Jen and Alex are saying is wrong, but maybe it's right.
God, I love it. Okay. Let me get started by giving my half scientific method citation. Okay. A lot of what I have for you guys today, not all of it, but a good chunk is from some research I was doing before I wrote down my notes. And a lot of it is sourced from the New York State Attorney, Letitia James, and her website, or I guess the government's website that she puts things on, which is ag.ny.gov/pyramid-schemes. I mean, I'm getting information from a source who A, is credible, but B, should know a lot about these things because she's an attorney.
And not only is it .ny, it's .gov.
These are the fucking facts.
Exactly.
People, and what about it?
Also, so if you have a problem, take it up with Letitia.
Take it up with the government.
Yeah, and get ready because she'll take you to court.
I'll see you in court.
She'll take your ass to court and you will lose.
Oh my god. Also, second disclaimer, I'm feeling a little giggly today, so...
I'm drinking a bubbler, so when this caffeine hits halfway through the episode, I'm zooming.
Yeah, we hitting it.
Take it away,
All right,
cutie.
people. So what are these pyramid schemes? What the hell are we talking about? You may have heard of this term before, or another one would be like a Ponzi scheme. I think that's more of like, that's an older term. I think I've mentioned before I took economics once in high school. And when we were learning about these things, the term at the time was Ponzi scheme. I think somebody involved like had the last name Ponzi or something like that.
It makes me think of the Fonz, like
Ooh.
Fonzie. Different, but
close.
Ponzi, okay.
Yeah. But anywho, we're going to refer to them as pyramid schemes, and we'll also be talking about MLMs. But let me get started right here, right now. What are pyramid schemes? A pyramid scheme is a fraudulent business model that relies on recruiting new participants to make money. The scheme is named for its compensation structure, which resembles a pyramid. So the original members are at the top, and it's thinner at the top, right? Because it makes a point. And then more and more people are recruited, and the pyramid widens toward the bottom. So it's kind of just like a hierarchy of people. You got the big shots at the top, then you might have a couple right below that, a couple below them, and then tons of people kind of holding the pyramid up at the bottom. They make money by always recruiting more and more quote unquote investors, right? So these are going to be the people generally more towards the bottom and right on that bottom rank.
What a bunch of hoopla.
The initial promoters recruit investors who in turn recruit more investors, and so on and so forth. The scheme is called a pyramid because at each level, the number of investors increases, right? So once you get to the top, they're going to have more people below them, more people below that, so on and so forth. I have a example that I'll get into later, but LuLaRoe is a really famous company that was a pyramid scheme. I'll get into that later, but Alex, do you have any thoughts on that?
I do, because there's two types of verbiage you can use. Pyramid schemes, which is that's illegal. So if you were a pyramid scheme, like you're probably being taken to court by Letitia.
Slim Shady.
Yeah, exactly. Shady.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of similarities to an MLM, which is what I talked about earlier, and that's called a multi-level marketing business. And that business strategy, or the way that those businesses are set up, are so similar. So I'm sure there's like some discrepancy that technically they're not doing anything illegal.
Right.
However, it seems illegal, or it just seems wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
It seems a little fishy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're
fishy.
She stank.
She stank.
You're always going to have like people above you in any business structure, but the amount of people that are at the bottom of this, I'm thinking the LuLaRoe specifically, which some of you are like, Jen, what is that word you keep dropping? And I'll talk about it a little bit.
That's
now,
how you know it's illegal. The name doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, right.
So what is an MLM? Okay. Everybody's asking. MLM, it's the word on everybody's lips.
Not an M&M.
Not an M&M. So multi-level marketing is a method of selling products directly to consumers without using retail stores as the middleman. Products are sold through a network of distributors or salespeople set up to resemble a pyramid. Seems like a pyramid scheme.
Similar.
Each distributor recruits and trains additional distributors and will earn commissions on their sales as well as on the sales that he or she makes, whoever's hired. Creating a pyramid. That shape just keeps reoccurring.
Wow.
Because of their pyramid structure, multi-level marketing companies can sometimes be pyramid schemes. From this specifically, that's what it is. But I will point out the similarities just in case those weren't already blatantly obvious. A legitimate multi-level marketing company does emphasize reliable products or services. So maybe it's just like, hey, we're not trying to take advantage of you. Like, our product works. It's worth the investment of whatever this is. A pyramid scheme uses products or services to disguise its quest for collecting money from the investors on the bottom levels to pay other investors further up in the pyramid. So basically they're saying MLMs, their product has legitimacy. Pyramid schemes, it's all a ruse. It's just disguised.
Yeah.
In a typical pyramid scheme, new investors must pay a fee for the right to sell the products or services, as well as the right to recruit others into the pyramid for rewards unrelated to the product sales or services. Very often, the products or services the victim must buy are unsaleable, and the pyramid's promoters refuse to repurchase them. On the other hand, legitimate MLMs or MLM companies will buy back unsold merchandise, although often at a discount from the original price. Another thing to add, success in MLMs is based on two factors. It's the product and service quality and the hard work involved in being able to sell the products or services. Recruitment of new investors is also secondary. So that's a lot of information there, but basically just trying to point out that I think that, in my opinion, and you can kind of touch on this in a minute, Jen, and let me know what you think because I'm interested. To me, pyramid schemes and MLMs are the same thing, but because the Ponzi or pyramid scheme has been doted illegal, obviously people are going to try a workaround and find a loophole through things. So maybe now people are trying to say like, no, our product is legitimate, which makes this not illegal. And yes, even though everything else is set up the same way, it doesn't matter because our product is good enough.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how that you took it?
I would think so, yeah. And I'll touch more on this when I get into my example later. But the whole, like, you have to pay a fee up front, or in LuLaRoe, which was a clothing business, you had to buy the products up front, or the clothing, I guess, which thousands of dollars worth. Mm-hmm. And these people are like, oh, you'll sell it, no problem. Buy more, buy more. You have so many people in XYZ, wherever these people live, you know? And so many women, especially in this business, were not just screwed over, excuse my French, people, but they were royally fucked over by having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars up front and not being able to sell these clothes. And like you were just talking, in MLMs, the like higher ups, or I guess I don't know who this specifically would be, but they generally buy back unsold merchandise. And in LuLaRoe, and I'm sure plenty of other pyramid schemes, they did not. So people were just stuck with so many unused clothes, and you just can't sell them. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
So then you're just stuck with it.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
yeah,
if you
that is.
If you go thrifting, like anywhere, I'm not even kidding. I see it at Savers here all the time.
Shut up.
You'll know if it's a LuLaRoe because they have crazy fucking prints and shit. It's just like whack.
Jeez, I never heard of this until you told me about it.
I'll get into it more later.
Okay, cool. Because I also have some ones that I don't think that maybe you're very familiar with, or you've probably seen on Facebook, and you're like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I did just look up a statistic because when you and I were talking about this last week, I was talking with my parents, and I was like, you know, now that I'm giving you all these examples, I feel like multi-level marketing businesses and pyramid schemes target women.
Absolutely, yes.
So in the United States, or in the Americas, they say North or South America, 80.2% of women are part of the network. And that's as opposed to 19.8% of that being men. So basically 80% to 20%, an 80-20 ratio, that MLMs are mainly women.
That's crazy.
And I think it's because, unfortunately, women are a consistently targeted market by marketing companies and just businesses in general. Like, men have theirs, the tools and other things. And obviously I'm speaking from a general standpoint. There's obviously a large range of, non-binary, all groups of people. You're going to fit within either of these, but I'm just saying in a general sense, typically men's marketing is very strategic towards tools, auto parts, and all that. And it's not as quick. Like, those are usually purchases that take a little bit more decision making. You need to, do down payments. Like there's more of a process. For women, I feel like it's so quick to be like, let me go to Zara, fast fashion.
Yeah.
What's the new thing that everybody's buying from now? Temu.
Oh God.
Yeah. So just
started on
consumerism at its biggest. So I think that is a big reason why.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
Stats. I hate that fact.
I know, it's like, or what percentage of that I'm responsible for?
God.
Shoot. Okay.
Well, while we're talking about issues with MLMs and pyramid schemes, I'll segue into my next topic, which are more issues. So while we're down, you might as well just kick the dead horse,
God, yes. What a beautiful...
As the metaphor goes. Yeah. So pyramid schemes are, one, an unsustainable structure. So pyramid schemes rely on recruiting an ever-increasing number of participants to sustain themselves. Like we were talking, you're going to have a shit ton of people at the bottom making no money. And like the example I keep giving, LuLaRoe, they're just stuck in debt because they can't sell these products. So eventually they collapse because it becomes impossible to recruit enough people to support the structure. A second one would be deceptive practices. So pretty much everything that we've said up until now, pyramid schemes often use deceptive tactics to lure in participants, such as promises of quick and easy money without clearly explaining the risks involved, or kind of like you were talking about earlier, recruiting people and getting a gift for it, or if you sell X amount of products, you'll get a Gucci bag, or like, you know what I mean? They put these impossibly unrealistic standards on women. I'll just say that straight up front. I've never known a man who's worked in one of these, but
no. And I think when I was in high school is when I saw a lot of these pyramid schemes, is they would kind of set it up as become your own boss, work from home. You're a busy mom. Like you have too much going on. Start your own business.
Right.
But then it's connected to somebody else's business. It's not theirs.
No.
It's always connected to something else and always based on someone else needing it from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess the way I'm thinking of it right now after you said that is like franchising kind of.
Yeah.
It's similar to that, but also completely different. Like you're still a part of this big company and it's like the promise of franchising, but you're really not able to do anything on your own.
Yeah, I feel like even with franchising, if you're a franchise like owner, I feel like there is still like a level of people coming in to check on you and make sure that things are running to the standard of whatever that company is.
Absolutely.
But I feel like with MLMs, I'm hiring you, and I put that in air quotes because you're not really getting hired because you're having to put stake into the pot basically to get going. And then they give you training, maybe, again, in quotes. And I'll kind of refer to that in my examples, but they give you training, but it's like you're on your own.
Right. You're just kind of
But you need to make us money.
Exactly.
So maybe that's the kind of the checking in that they do. It's not to see how you're doing. It's, how much have you made?
Exactly. Yeah. And that brings me to my next point, or the next negative point of these schemes, which is financial loss for participants. So a lot of these participants have to go into these businesses by giving some money up front. The vast majority of participants in pyramid schemes end up losing money. Only a small fraction of people at the top or the tippy top of the pyramid make profit, while those at the bottom typically lose their initial financial investment. And it's because up front they're being told, it's so easy to do these things. Keep buying more. You'll sell out of X print super fast. And it's just these promises of making a quick buck, but not being able to do turnaround because these people hardly get any training, or like LuLaRoe, the shit's just god awful ugly that nobody wants it,
I even think like boutique clothing, it's not MLM, but again, like a franchisee thing, it's not current, a lot of these things, because of the way that it's structured, they don't have a design team like just, you know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
It's not like Target doing research on like
Exactly.
what's going to be hit next season.
Like buyers, they just basically have these random everyday people doing the purchasing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugly.
And it kind of disgusts me because we've said they're specifically targeting women. So I will go based off of that fact. You're getting these women to spend literally thousands of dollars up front, and they're being told that the company won't buy their unsold product back, so the company's making their check right away. They don't have to worry about if these people aren't selling their clothes, or you know what I mean? They get their money right away. That blows my fucking marbles.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable, honestly.
Unbelievable. The things people will do for a check. Okay. Legal issues. Anyway.
If that wasn't already obvious enough, there are legal issues with this.
My bae Letitia was telling us about this earlier. So, legal issues. Pyramid schemes are illegal in many countries because they are inherently fraudulent, right? Authorities actively pursue and shut down pyramid schemes to protect consumers from financial harm. Another issue, and this is more of a emotional aspect for the people involved, because businesses like this aren't treating the people as people. They're treating them as a number, another number that will help them in financial gain, right? So my next issue is damaged relationships. Pyramid schemes often rely on participants recruiting friends and family members and other people they know, which can strain relationships when those individuals realize they've been misled or lost money or taken advantage of, whether it's on purpose or not. If you don't really know what you're getting these people into, obviously that's an accident, and I hope you guys can fix things. But if you're doing it intentionally, it's really hard to recover from stuff like that. I can imagine. I've never been involved.
And I'll get into this later, but it does damage the relationships of the people that you're trying to get to purchase these things, because even if you don't end up adding them to your team, who knows the legitimacy of these products, right? And because you kind of feel like the pressure of having to make a sale, who are you going to go to first? You're going to go to your friends, your closest people, your family, and that's going to put them in a really tough position, because what if they don't want to buy it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're kind of making it their responsibility to help you out. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's tough. The last one I want to bring up is ethical concerns, and this goes with the legality of things too. Participating in a pyramid scheme often involves taking advantage of others by recruiting them into the scheme where they are likely to lose money. This raises ethical questions about exploiting others for personal gain, and this goes into what we were just talking about too. Even if it's unintentional, like asking your family members to help you out, it puts everyone in a tough situation because they don't want to necessarily buy this product, or you know what I mean, but they feel like they have to help you, and there's just a lot of issues, I reckon.
Just a couple to off the top, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, I'm glad we're talking about it, but it almost like feels weird to talk about in a way, because it's just like, I know personally so many people.
Absolutely.
And I have also been a victim to MLMs.
What?
I'm sure you've heard of a little thing called Mary Kay.
Oh. Oh. Wait, before you get in this, you guys want to hear something crazy?
Give us a tea.
One of like the first major MLMs, or it's not a pyramid scheme because they're like a legit business, but one of the first MLMs was called Beauty Counter. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Wait, but don't people order from them a lot now? Like it's like
yes, and
over in Europe.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where it started.
Okay.
But they're in Ulta now, which is crazy. It's just crazy to me that like they probably started out like Mary Kay, you know, these women going to other people's doors. Beauty Counter is a makeup brand for those who don't know, but they go to people's doors like selling this makeup and skincare that's supposedly really good for them, and then I don't know, like 30, 40 years later they end up in Ulta. That's crazy to me.
That's weird. Maybe they're one of the good ones where it's like, yeah, maybe we do have a pyramid type of hierarchy,
right,
but our products are really good.
I've tried a couple things from them. They're not bad. I can't attest to the whole brand, but I would hope that they're a good one.
Yeah, but I mean, just like Sephora and Ulta, there's a lot of businesses out there where, especially in the beauty industry, because I just feel like because of fast consumerism, everybody's just eating at such a high rate when it comes to buying things. And the beauty especially, they're always coming out with new products just to keep up with the other ones. Like if somebody comes out with a liquid highlighter, everybody needs to. If somebody's coming out with a cream blush, well, now everybody's got to do it. You know, like the freckle pens, that became like a huge thing, and now everybody's doing it. So it's like, I can imagine that maybe if you're not ready to invest in the proper products, you're still going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Interesting.
Mary Kay time.
Mary Kay. Where do I begin? I do have notes here, but I'm going to try and not read directly from them because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that pop up that make me
give
think of
me
it.
your experience.
So in college, I was very involved with event and wedding makeup. I think as I moved around a lot, I had a lot of time by myself before I moved and found friends. So what I would do is I would binge YouTube videos and teach myself how to do makeup. Throughout college, I ended up getting decently good at it where people felt like paying me money. I will look back at those pictures and be forever haunted because I'm so much better now. However, at the time, I wanted anything and everything, skincare and makeup. So I worked at Sephora. I really liked the education aspect of that there. But when I was approached by a friend's mom and grandmother, they both do Mary Kay and Mary Kay full time. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the stuff that they do is it's on the side. It's not their main gig. So I thought, wow, they're their own bosses. That's really crazy. That's super cool. And they have nice ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think that, well, the mom was single. The grandma, she was married, but they're retired. So she's driving around the pink Cadillac from Mary Kay.
Period.
So you were talking about gifts. That's one. If you make so much sales in a year, you get a pink Cadillac for free. For free. A whole ass car. So they caught me at the perfect time because not only was I obviously a little naive, pretty immature for my age. I mean, I'm just looking for any opportunity, and they're adults. Like, they can dress it up and make it look however they want to, especially because they're in this realm of MLMs.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Good at bullshitting. You know, they can set up things to make it seem however they like. So because I was naive and immature, but I was also incredibly motivated to try anything makeup, and because they were a little bit older, I felt like I had the edge because I was so young, and I was like, I actually know how to apply the makeup well. Even though the makeup products weren't that good, I was like, maybe I'm so much better at applying it that's where I can kind of sell it, you know? And that's exactly how they approached me. I threw all caution to the wind because they were just gassing me up. They're like, you're going to do so good. Like, you could actually do like makeup sessions with them, and then you can sell the products after you put it on them. Like, this would be so cool. Oh my gosh, the women are going to love you. Again, all women there. Okay. This is a small Midwest town. This was in Minot. We're 40,000 people at this point, and these women have been, I mean, it's multi-generational. There's two people from the same family running that shit, okay?
Wow.
Talk about top of the pyramid. That's where those ladies were. The grandma, very top, okay? So again, it worked exactly like how it sounds, like how Jen was explaining. Each person that they hired, whatever they made, they would get a portion of their earnings, okay? But again, you had to purchase in. Their kit was, I think, $100 or $150. And I begged and pleaded my parents, please help me do this. It's like another job that I'm investing in. Like, I was so involved that I believed every word they said. And then I just took that as Bible and regurgitated it and even sold my parents on it. Like, it is that easy. And it's crazy to see like where you think you're going and how, like, I had no idea, right? Like, this was just bare bones. So I get the starter kit. Okay. I start going to all of the meetings. I went to a pinning ceremony where I was pinned. And within 2 weeks of going to these meetings, I think it was like 2 to 3 times a week, maybe tops, or it was kind of however many you could go to. These women would basically join in this large rectangular like thing of tables, and then we would all kind of take our turn and talk about things. But there was like 50 women in there, okay, and they're all from Minot and in their surrounding areas. There was not a single person that I could have sold that product to besides the people in my close circle. What they wanted me to do was sell it to college students.
Oh.
Because that was untapped market.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've ever talked to a college student before. As a college student trying to sell something else, they don't even want to buy a goddamn candy bar from you if you're trying to get money for a sporting event. They don't care. College students don't care. Also, I'm a college student. I don't know how to talk to them.
Right.
It's different when you're older and you're like, ooh, okay, like, because I was easily coerced, but I don't have that. I didn't have that skill at the time, you know, like I'm not able to make a sale. Gosh, it was really bad. And I'm so happy that it only took me a couple of weeks, but I was out $150.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my parents were, you know, and I just like, that's something that I'm so thankful that it never took to what it was.
Absolutely.
But I have 2 more examples, but they're not as long as that because these are just people that have been involved in it.
Yeah.
Another makeup one is Lime Life by Alcone.
Oh,
have you heard of them?
No, I haven't.
They're the all-in-one makeup palette. Basically,
I'm gonna look it up while you're talking.
Yeah, please do. So basically their big ticket item when I was in college was they had a foundation shade, a concealer shade, bronzer, and blush, and then maybe a highlighter. Or there was like, it was a 6-pot thing, but it's wax-based products, which I'm assuming that a lot of our listeners aren't like huge makeup fanatics like Jen and I are. She's worked at Ulta, I've worked at Sephora. We have actual legitimate education in it. Typically, makeup products should be silicone or water-based. This is actually a huge topic on TikTok and on everything else, but Lime Life probably isn't the only one that does this because I've seen a lot of videos. But basically, these women are trying to do, and so the thing that they did was like Facebook Live videos doing their makeup. I have never seen somebody so aggressive on their skin with a brush. It was like the skincare was bad, the makeup they're putting on is bad. And like the wax, because it is wax, just to give you some information, because makeup is silicone or water-based, depending if you're combination dry or oily, water or silicone base can work for you in a specific scenario. Okay, environment, all these things tap into it. Wax, it doesn't go with anybody's skin.
No.
It will not melt into your skin like typical products will. And this isn't even just a high-end versus drugstore. This is just all makeup, because some drugstore makeup is better than high-end.
Yeah.
Because their ingredients are either similar or they're better. Okay, so this is not based on price range. Because it was wax, they could also only get a few shade ranges. So you were either extremely jaundice and yellow, or it was a very orangey and like bad like spray tan.
Yeah.
So these women are doing get ready with me's, the old school ones, and they're having people tune in and they're like, oh, it looks so good. And I remember my friend had one of her friends who worked at the same salon. She was a Lime Life seller. She did her makeup for her wedding day in this.
No way.
And it was summertime and it was hot and she looked gorgeous. I will say she looked absolutely beautiful.
Good.
But the makeup compared to today's standards, it was a hot mess. Okay.
I can't even imagine, especially in heat. Think candles, people. Candles are wax. What happens to wax when flame? Melt.
Melts. Candle flame melt.
Exactly.
So that one was really bad, and that's actually still a thing. A lot of people and the thing is, the marketing has not changed. It's the same Facebook, word of mouth. It's so childish. Oh gosh, I wish I could have shown you, because I had a close friend and she like swore by it, and then I was like, you cannot be putting this on your face. It is so, not only does it look waxy. It looks heavy. It doesn't look like your skin. It's also extremely awful for your skin. It's going to clog your pores. That's the second to last one. And the last one that I will bring up is Young Living essential oils.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Yeah, that one might be okay. It does say when you type it into Google that it is an MLM. I do think that their products are okay. I don't think that there's anything crazy about essential oils where it's like it's could go wrong, you know?
Right.
As long as you're using the product as you should, then I think you should be okay. So I did look up MLMs just to kind of get a list of some. So Beauty Counter is on there.
Yeah. Let's
see here. Some other ones. New Skin, NUSKIN. I actually bought that one. It's the little, it's like the little facial massager. I actually really like that because I used to have very bad hormonal acne. And at least it cleaned my skin gently but very deeply. I still have it. I don't use it though.
Gotcha.
But it was very expensive. Herbalife.
I knew that.
You knew that one? Okay. Yeah. It doesn't surprise me it's an MLM, but I used to go to like a shake place and get teas and shakes from them. So I don't mind it. I think it tastes good. Yeah. And if anything, it was a nice little snack.
I've never had it, but I know people who are like obsessed with it.
Oh, Vorwerk? Vorwerk. It's cleaning. Did you
I've never heard of that one.
Okay. Mary Kay, Avon, Young Living. The other one is Tupperware.
Oh, and you know what ties with that? Pampered Chef.
That's an MLM? Shut up.
Think about it. These women are hosting parties and showing you kitchen utensils, and then you buy them. I love Pampered Chef, not gonna lie, and Tupperware. Fuck yeah. I'll give you all my money.
Oh, I can't think of the name. I want to find it. But basically, it was a party that you would host and throw for your friends, and it was like sexy lingerie and like toys and like lube and stuff. God, maybe you can like talk about a few things because I need to find it.
I have no idea.
I've been to actually 2 or 3 of them.
What?
And Mom and Dad, close your ears. Yeah. Okay, so as an icebreaker, because it's uncomfortable, right? Yeah. Like the third one that I went to, thankfully I had already experienced it and this wasn't my first time, because the first 2 times I did it with closer friends, but the second time that I did, or the third time that I did it, I was joining my good friend and then a bunch of her work friends who were from the bank. Oh. And I don't know if you've met a lot of bank tellers, but they're pretty chill, like a little classy, you know, reserved. Like tradition. Yeah, reserved, exactly. So being in a room with them, everybody's like, oh my God, you know, like the nervous laugh where you don't want to be there, but you have to.
Yeah.
So the icebreaker was musical chairs, but it was a musical dildo. So you would pass around this sex toy, and then when the music shut off, you would get asked a question by the host. It was so awful. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's a multi-level.
I would guess.
Because it was the same thing. You would be hosted and then have a party and people would buy products, and then hopefully somebody from that party would host again. And then, okay, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
If you could find something to talk about in the meantime, that would be so lovely.
That's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay. I want to talk about the LuLaRoe stuff a little bit more now. The first time I was ever really introduced to that was, I believe, my sophomore year of high school. I had a science teacher who, did you figure it out? Here, just go, tell me.
I'm so sorry.
I need to know.
It's called Pure Romance.
Oh, I have heard of that. I didn't know it was like that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. And it was like lube test, like taste testing, because they have edible lube. So it'd be like,
Alex.
Oh, this is our chair. Okay, can let the record show I never purchased anything. Okay. It was a common courtesy towards my friend.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'll show up. Ooh, there's wine. How fun.
I get you, yeah.
Like girls just being girls, but it was weird. Weird. Yeah.
That it makes me uncomfortable just talking about this.
We'll look at the website later,
Yeah.
but continue.
Girl time.
Girl time.
Okay, LuLaRoe. I think the first time I ever like witnessed that, or I guess heard about the company, was sometime in high school. I believe it was my sophomore year. I had a science teacher who was wearing these dresses, and they had like fun pants too, every day. Okay, she always showed up with these funky patterns. So one day I was like, Miss Girl, I won't name her name on here, but I was like, Miss Girl, you're always coming to school with like these really fun, funky patterns. Where are you getting them? And she told me about it, and I mean, I wasn't going to buy, but I was like, oh, okay, like, that's really interesting. This company is selling, like, really fun, funky patterns in comfy clothes for women to, A, just, like, have fun, but B, be comfy at work. I love that. And this is probably when it, like, first really started taking off. They had actually cute clothes, like, not really my taste, but it wasn't like gaudy, god-awful patterns. It was reasonably cute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then, and especially I will talk about this later, but for some reason they took a turn and their designs just started getting whack, crazy, like no one would ever wear this. And I know there's people out there who have really quirky fashion senses, but this is like quirk crack.
You know what this is giving? I have the website pulled up right now. It's giving pajama jeans.
I know. Yeah, right?
Like Rue 21 or is that Rue 21?
Yes.
Weird. Rue 21 and Forever 21. Interesting. Didn't see that parallel until now.
That's funny. Basically, they targeted moms or I don't know, teachers. I had a lot of teachers wear that stuff, but they targeted these moms and teachers who want comfy, fun, no hassle clothing, okay? They basically ran a pyramid selling these funny dresses or like funky patterns and leggings. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime. It's called Lula Rich.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
It is fucking crazy. Again, pardon my French, it is crazy. Becca and I watched it, I think a couple years ago when it came out, and we're both so invested. Like, we go thrifting, you know, we did when we were in college, and we would always find it and like make a point to show each other and be like, oh my God, look. But basically, it is everything that we've talked about earlier. There's people on the way tippy top, and I think in the documentary, there's like 6 people at the very, very top, like the hierarchy of this company. But anyways, they are taking advantage of women by recruiting more and more sellers. They had to buy literally, like, I think it was like $3,000 worth of clothing up front with the promise of, oh, it's so easy to sell. Like, you could do this in your sleep.
So was this with the intent kind of like a franchise? Like, I think about people who start clothing boutiques.
Yes.
Is it, but they're not opening a brick and mortar with LuLaRoe on it.
No.
It's just LuLaRoe clothing you purchase and you sell from your home. Basically
exactly.
like a work from home thing.
People are selling from their homes. They would do like parties or whatever in their garages.
Oh my
God. Lot of them, like you were just saying, would do Facebook Lives of them trying on clothes or like showing a size in something or showing all the different patterns of leggings. And you want to know the crazier part? Okay. Well, there's a couple crazy things that I'll get into. There's a lot of crazy shit with this one. But like companies today still, and I know LuLaRoe is still around, but I doubt they're making any money. They, like Shein, were stealing designs and graphics from small businesses or people on Etsy selling their patterns and wouldn't give them any money, didn't tell them they were using it. And they give a couple examples in the documentary, but I can't remember specifically because I haven't watched it in a minute. But I think there was a case of like this woman was shopping somewhere or something. She saw a lady wearing her pattern and was like, what the fuck? I made that.
Yeah, like, and where'd you get that from?
Yeah, did deep diving and found that they were stealing a bunch of her designs.
Like, not even just the one, multiple. No, they went back. They were repeat offenders.
Yes. Another crazy thing is they've got to be mass producing all of these clothes, right? Like, it's not some small, this is only happening in, I don't know, Oklahoma thing. This was nationwide. And in tons of small towns, in big cities, they have to be mass producing clothes, okay? Which comes with the cost itself. But because nobody was really selling these things, they were just sitting in warehouses. They weren't properly like packaging them to be shipped off. So they were getting wet, moldy, being faced by all of these elements. Like some, I believe in the documentary, this might not be true, but to my memory, some came with like shit on them.
Oh my God.
And, like, because
it's
they're
not
outside.
far-fetched.
No, they're just sitting, they were basically sitting in like crates outside. Animals can go sit on that, birds, you know?
Oh my God.
And they would show up to these women's houses and they'd be like, hey, I can't sell this. It's moldy. And they would basically be like, oh, do your best. We can't really do anything about it.
It makes me think of those websites where you want to go buy something online and you purchase it and it is not what it was. Like, it's made out of costume material. Right. But there's no, at least with Temu, I've never purchased anything from there. I will not purchase anything from there, just so it's said. Please don't come for me. I am not trying to promote fast fashion.
No.
But I will say, like, if they were able to buy a football, a Super Bowl commercial, I'm assuming that they probably have departments and they probably have customer service, but there are some businesses that spend, in quotes, a lot of money on Instagram ads that I'll see and I'm like, oh, this is really cute. And they, like, maybe they got an Instagram influencer or something to put it on there and to broadcast it. I have actually in the last half year spent $200 on a few different orders of clothing items that seemed pretty legit. And it's like, as soon as I make the order, I have a pit in my stomach and I'm like,
shouldn't have done
I
that.
didn't get a confirmation email.
Yeah.
I don't have, or it'll be like, they'll provide me a tracking number and the tracking number doesn't apply to anything.
Yeah.
And then when you try and go to their customer service, nobody can be reached. So I actually got blocked one time when I tried to talk to a customer service rep to cancel a thing. I just said, like, hey, I don't really trust this. Like, I literally just placed my order 5 minutes ago. Like, if I could cancel it, that would be great. Literally 5 minutes ago. They took 2 days to respond and said, sorry, it's too late. You reached, it's too late. I was like, no, you responded too late. You prolonged it, so now it goes within your clause that you can't cancel it. Thankfully, it was only like $50 in the long run, right?
But still.
So then I went to respond and it said, the sender has blocked you.
That is fucking crazy. You're going to have to tell me what company this is after.
I honestly don't even remember.
Okay.
I don't even remember. But
That's
there was
crazy.
one that I was really nervous about buying, and it was like the Shark and Dyson hair dupe. I think it was called like Nerose or Neroche. And I did go forward purchasing that one. And for 2 weeks, I didn't get tracking information. Thankfully, I got it through PayPal, because anything you buy online, use a credit card. If you're using, unless you do PayPal or some other business that protects your information or your whatever, if it's coming from a checking account, do not use a debit card online. Because if you do that, and if your card gets hacked and they take money from you, you don't get that money back.
Yeah.
At least with a credit card, you can say it's fraudulent and it's not technically your money yet. So you can do go through discourse or whatever they call it, and basically you can write a claim and just say, like, this happened. Usually you'll get credited that back. Like the credit company will take care of it.
Yeah.
PayPal does the same thing if you feel like it's fraudulent, or they have a bunch of other things, but they basically have a team that will help you out. But
that's so smart.
But it's a long process, so it's like, just
Yeah.
be really smart. However, yeah, just
Wow. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
There's some scary shit out there.
Yeah, but LuLaRoe, I'm looking at their website right now and it's hideous.
You guys, and specifically you, Al, you gotta watch the documentary.
I think I'm going to tonight. I was watching the cult Dance for the Devil.
Oh, yeah.
Like cult one, which is kind of sad because I did realize that there is a girl, like one of the sisters. I used to watch her all the time on Instagram.
Oh.
and I feel really bad. I kind of don't want to watch because I don't want to be pulled to either side, because it seems so weird. But yeah, I'm looking at LuLaRoe right now, and these cowboy boots that have jeans over them. It's like jeans and leather.
It just blows my fucking mind that this business that, like, my sophomore year science teacher, who I really, really liked, is like roped into.
And like wearing a stolen design, probably.
Right. Yeah.
That's so sad.
I know.
I did want to kind of to put out there that I really do think that this is a good learning lesson, because it's one example of literally probably hundreds of thousands, right? When AI came out and people were talking about certain programs taking certain styles and artwork from artists and designers without giving them proper credit, this has been going on, obviously, far longer, but now it's become such a topic of discussion, kind of like what Jen's saying, is they're designers, in quotes, taking artwork and designs from graphic designers and artists, not giving them credit. If you are the type of person who says that there's nothing wrong with that, you have some serious educating to do, because you don't have somebody taking your original ideas on the daily, not giving you credit for it, and then making money off of it. And then when you go to try and do something to just legally give yourself some credit, then you have to spend probably thousands of dollars if you're going to take them to like a small claims court or however that is for copyright. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough education keeping people from doing that. But if you're the one momenting the conversation of, well, it's okay, or, oh, they're complaining, like whatever, at least your work is getting out, you don't get it.
I agree.
And that's incredibly tone deaf of you to say that it's okay for somebody else to do that when it's not your work.
Yep.
So again, please, with the utmost respect, you need to educate yourself. And people, quit stealing from artists. And this will go as simple as Pinterest, okay? If you take something from Pinterest and you share it as your own, that is stealing.
Yep.
If you are not giving credit to the designer, graphic designers, if you are taking aspects of somebody else's design and you are not changing them to make it your own, that is stealing. Mm-hmm. That is copyright infringement.
Preach it, Al. Preach it.
I feel very strongly about that, because it's never happened to me, but I can like feel how frustrating that would be.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also never had that happen to me. Knock on wood, it never does. Yeah. But I can only imagine what somebody in that position would think, in the position of the artist, not somebody taking that work. Mm-hmm. I would never ever do something like that. It would guilty my conscience so much. Mm-hmm. It just mind boggles me that people out there just think it's okay to do things like that, and like, especially big companies.
Mm-hmm. And so loudly on social media. Yeah. And I feel like that's, going back to when we talked about, is social media positive or negative? Way more negatives.
Yep.
Way more negatives. One of my favorite YouTubers just announced that she's leaving YouTube because she's like, the internet is such a different place and I just don't want that energy anymore, which is so sad. But again, it's like, I just want to reiterate this one more time. If you are the type of person online joining in on these conversations, trying to defend that it is okay to be doing this, even if it's in just normal conversation, because I remember when I would bring this up to my family about the AI thing. Mm-hmm. And how when they were basically like, oh, AI generated me as like a goddess or like as something else. It's like they're taking already made designs and incorporating that into their algorithm and then coming up with it. That's stealing. Yeah. If you are trying to defend that and you're not willing to look outside and be like, you know what, it's okay that I was on board with it, but now I realize it's okay to change your mind. Yeah. But if you are so afraid of admitting that you were wrong and that you just didn't understand, you need to dig deeper into that issue, because if you're going to be the kind of person that's only willing to understand from your perspective only, you will be so stunted in life. Yep. So just respect people, respect their work, and especially with MLMs, like, my last example that I wanted to give was how it damages personal relationships. I was listening to, if you know who Jake Johnson is, he's from New Girl. Mm-hmm. He has a podcast called We're Here to Help. And basically him and this other comedian, they get callers and they give their 2 cents or their advice on whatever issue they're having. And they got one on somebody who was approached by a lady who was in MLM. I can't remember what business it was. She may not have disclosed that even, but she said that she got really close to this friend, and they've been close for 2 to 3 years now. So maybe even like your and I friendship, if one of us were to be able to do that. And she texted her out of the blue and just said like, hey, I just wanted to, run this business opportunity by you. Even if you just wanted to buy something, like basically just giving her the spiel. So outside of whatever their friendship actually was, like did not care to even say like, hey, how are you? Like, how's it going? And then when the one friend like very patiently and very kindly explained to her without even sugarcoating it, she was like, listen, I just don't support those multi-level management or marketing companies. I just don't appreciate the exposure that it brings to certain people, and it kind of takes advantage of them. And she's like, but I support you. I just won't be purchasing, or I won't be taking part. But like, I just wanted to put that out there. Her friend got defensive and ended their friendship because of it.
Wow.
So she was like, what do I do? Is it worth like apologizing for? And they were like, don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. This is where I'm saying, if you are involved or have been involved in that, it's okay. It's okay that you made a mistake.
Right.
If you're just starting to get defensive because you maybe think that it was the wrong decision to make, cool. But don't take that out on your loved ones just because they don't want to do that. You can't force somebody to be a part of what you want.
Yeah.
And also, if you're trying to make somebody feel bad, it's like, are you doing it for the best intentions anyways?
No kidding. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Like, don't sell out of desperation. That's obviously not a good, it sounds pretty toxic to me. So I've had multiple people reach out to me. Thankfully, only one close friend has done it in the last year, and I haven't heard anything about it since. So I trust that that's kind of like the end of that. But throughout the years, a lot of acquaintances from people I've graduated with, they'll do the, hey girl.
Yep.
Hey girl, it's been so long. I just figured I would reach out to you and like, how are you doing? The one thing that chaps my ass is when somebody will start asking me how I'm doing. They don't care. It's just an intro. It's just an icebreaker.
Yep.
And then they get right into it. It's like, don't pretend like you care when you just want to use me for sales.
Mm-hmm. Was there like a hair product one recently?
Monat.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. That's the only one that I've ever been reached out to by.
Really?
And I just didn't respond because I'm not going to fucking deal with that shit. Sorry.
So you want to know what's funny about that? I did ask my hairstylist about it. I asked her about Vegamore because I had seen so many ads for it, but then I did see it in Sephora and I was like, okay, maybe it's not so bad. But Monat? Is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
So for them, that has been going on since Lime Life, the makeup brand I was talking to you about. So I was familiar with girls older than me, 2 years into college, selling that product. Okay.
That's exactly what my situation was.
Yeah. So I had never been approached for it, but I had heard people using it back in the day when it first started that I was making their hair fall out.
Yep. I was going the exact same route with this. Yep.
So I asked my hairstylist and she said, no, I've heard a lot of people have success with it. So I don't know if they reformulated and it's better now, but I heard that it was.
Yes.
I actually think that there might be, let me see if there was a lawsuit.
I think there was.
Yes. Monat lawsuit, hair loss.
Yep.
A Florida-based hair and skincare company has faced multiple lawsuits since 2015 alleging that its products caused hair loss, scalp irritation, and other issues. The lawsuits were filed by consumers and hair professionals, including former Monat distributors. The complaints included scalp inflammation, burning, hair breakage, bald spots, itching, and sores.
That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
And that's by Fox Business, Healthline, like there's a bunch of
so
it's credible. Yeah. Thehairsociety.org. I mean, obviously, they know.
Yeah.
It's the Hair Society. But we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
This is a lengthy one. However, it's just like, just be careful.
No kidding. It's okay to be involved in things like this, but hopefully people are able to see eventually that it's not right.
Shop smart.
Yes.
This one lady on a podcast was talking about how marketing, especially with this, with attractive benefits and be your own boss, like all these things, it targets your fight or flight response and it makes you feel the urgency. Well, I have to do this. Like, it's such a good opportunity. It won't be around forever. Same thing with the products is you're instilling in your sales technique to the people once you're a part of this, that fight or flight, like you need it. Oh, it's non-toxic cleaning. It's so good for your home. That other stuff is so bad, causes cancer. Like, they're just using whatever they can to leverage their, exactly. So everybody, when that happens to you, take a few deep breaths, think about it, then make your decision.
Yeah.
Do research.
Ooh, I like that.
No decision ever needs to be made in that time. And if it is, probably not a good decision.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
Let's leave it on that.
We'll adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. I'll see you in
Pound the
court.
gavel.
I hope you heard that.
I'll turn it up so they can
thanks.
hear it, so the people can hear it in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.